Happy morning, dear friends and masters. Wonderful afternoon and evening. So let's understand a little bit around this concept, emotional intelligence, and in the context of meditation and how meditation is beautifully enhancing emotional intelligence, which is helping us to connect, with people. So always been very, very grateful to Patrici for simplifying this whole spirituality meditation. He said 90% of spirituality is living this life with common sense wisdom. 10-20% is experiencing life, understanding life beyond life. And so then we have total clarity over living this life. So very, very grateful for him and then Dr. GK and all masters who have helped me to be what I am. And so meditation, so we are always talking in terms of how holistic it is. So we talk from this perspective that there's physical quotient, which is passion to live life again. We withdraw from life. When you don't have that energy, we don't have that health. So at the moment we come into meditation, it is just bringing that energy back, health back. So we are passionate again. We go back and start looking at what is it that I wanted to always experience. So it brings passion back into life. We are here to experience. A passion is by definition aligns to your purpose, and so then you experience deeply. And so by definition, and you contribute to everybody around. When you experience something deeply, you're joyful, so that vibration goes to others. IQ, so meditation is helping IQ, growth and development. IQ is intelligence or mental abilities, a sound mind, and then abilities to learn, to read, to synthesize, to create, to develop that cognitive capability. And my reading increased by 5 times when I came into meditation. If I look back 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, and now, I read faster, 5 times more. You look at the book, you start reading, you read a whole paragraph. It improves. It significantly improves your ability to read, synthesize, because it's always putting information as it is removing unwanted stuff, so you're able to synthesize. Meditation is developing so much of gray matter. The gray matter is thickening. And so then all parts of the brain are working beautifully, so the mental abilities are increasing, the learning power, the cognitive capabilities. So IQ for growth and development, my definition, become growth-minded. You see, when you're trying to learn, and then there is this concept of neuro rigidity. So when you're trying to learn, if the neural circuits are stressful, because of the stress of the neural circuits didn't have the glue and the not adequate neural connection possible, so reading and learning is very, very difficult. So a stressful mind, difficult to read. A sustained stressful mind, difficult to read, difficult to learn, which means we avoid reskilling ourselves. We avoid taking up new initiative. But the meditation beautifully moves the brain into neuroplasticity, which means it can learn. It is ready to learn due to this various neural gray matter thickening. And so growth is happening significantly. So we are ready to learn. Knowledge precursor experience. So dear friends, manifestation, something that has so beautifully benefited, understood the science of how if thoughts create reality, then how you can focus your attention on things you want, and then how you can manifest. So significantly improving manifestation quotient. I attribute a lot of my company acquisition, even company acquisition is manifestation wisdom. And we're talking in the context of for today, EQ, relationships to celebrate life. The more we connect with others, the more we are multiplying experience, celebrating. SQ, spiritual quotient, the topic for some other time. So friends, in the holistic point, the way this is how we say it, we're moving to a joyful, growth-minded person with lots of ownership and then always living in abundance and move it in heart model. This is before and after. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence can be defined into these 5 areas: self-awareness, self-expression, and then inspiration, empathy, and engagement. Emotional intelligence is about having the, number one, emotional regulation. That means, for example, you're driving your car and then somebody cuts across on your lane. Then we become agitated, and then suddenly we lose the focus on what we are doing. Instead, we only are occupied with that event and incident, talking about how horrible this person is. So emotional regulation is to be in whatever that we are doing without distractions, and then continue to perform our best. So whatever that we're doing, without getting derailed from what we're doing, and continue to give our best, is then can be termed into emotional regulation. So the emotional intelligence is first emotional regulation, and then second is emotional connect with everything and everybody around. Both are there. So self-awareness is bringing a lot of emotional. Self-awareness is to be aware of where I am. When somebody cuts across my lane, can I come back? Can I understand the event? Can I come back to what I am again? I'm driving focused and probably having a conversation with somebody and the real rider. Or should I just be occupied now about how horrible the driving is, how safe it is on the roads? Because you have these people who are just cutting across like that. So bringing back or being not getting derailed from what we are doing, and then continue to give our best, both are important. And so meditation is bringing self-awareness. Self-expression is to express, to truly claim what's ours. There's a lot of fear. There are a lot of times this fear of failure, fear of looking bad, so many fears that hold us back. The memories, the old memories that hold us back. Self-expression. So meditation beautifully is increasing the expression. Inspiration is because meditation helps us to develop certain qualities of detail to attention. Then we inspire, we become an inspiration to people around. Every meditator becomes a manager's delight. Empathy. And so the more we practice meditation, empathy is an ability to understand people. We move away from sympathetic response to an empathetic response, understanding. Because with meditation, with wisdom, as we understand that everybody is going through something or the other. So becoming empathetic to say, understanding where they are, and so then there is a possibility they make mistakes, they come late, they do this, they do that, but empathy to understand somebody's situation. So meditation helps us to develop that. Now, the moment we become empathetic and we become magnets, people come around to us, we start becoming leaders. And engagement is we develop leadership capability, so we start engaging, we start rallying people around. Emotional intelligence is developing all these 5 areas. And the beauty is that this breath mindfulness meditation that we are practicing helps us to develop all of this significantly. So let's look at the first one, self-awareness. We are becoming aware. Meditation, if there's one thing that's building, is that awareness. Awareness about ourselves. What is ourselves? What thoughts do we have? Positive, negative, miraculous, disastrous. So what kind of thought I have? What feelings that I'm right now going through when I'm going through a situation? You are walking into your office, suddenly, that colleague who is always challenging you is showing up again. The colleague who is challenging you is showing up again. You find that this colleague is tough. We already labeled that colleague as tough. And so then he or she is coming in. And so what's your response? What is your thought like? Are we pulling back to your old memory? So are you ready with your defensive response ready? You are in this. So the moment you see the person, you're ready with your defense response. What would be defense response? Try to hide yourself. Just move away. So what is it that the awareness is about your thought at that moment? Bringing back your old memory, the feeling of total frustration or anger because something has happened. And what reaction? Maybe it's a senior person. So the reaction would be to simply just go away from it, walk away from that place. But that's our old self. So when awareness is built, so then meditation is helping us to now start looking and say, what new response I can give? And this is where the wisdom comes in. This is where the wisdom comes in, that we learn that I can be fearful, I can be frustrated, walk away, or I have a choice to be calm and patient in this moment. Now you learn from somebody that, hey, having a patient response or a calm response will dissolve the situation. It dissolves the energy. You see, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So if you think of somebody, then you keep putting your energy on it as it keeps flaring up. And so being calm-minded can be a great response so that, the situation gets dissolved. The person also changes because we are always impacting others. And so when we learn a new piece of wisdom of how to respond, and so then meditation brings that awareness back to us. So we choose. So different self-awareness is helping greatly. For example, when you're aware of your anger response, you are able to give a different response. And so the less we exhibit anger, the less we are stressful, the less we feel bullied. So that means we become confident again. We become confident. The self-awareness is built. We develop a lot of confidence to participate back. You are in your family meetings together. You know that you lose out. You're too angry. A person as an angry person. So what is the normal behavior? Because then everybody advise and say, hey, you don't participate in the group discussion because you lose yourself. And so then we start withdrawing. But now with awareness and meditation builds that awareness. So you express not the anger which is not necessary. And so you being confident. And you do a second time, you become more confident. So you go back. And you start becoming positive, start exhibiting a positive response. As you are self-aware, and you start exhibiting positive response. And so, dear friends, with that confidence, with that positivity, then you start participating back again significantly. That's the first step. Participation with people, with everything around is a first step towards building great emotions, great relationships. And so self-awareness is fundamental. We're moving from reaction to response. The second thing that it happens, as you become confident, we develop the self-expression. So now self-expression, a lot of times we are fearful. We look at things happening, we have an architect, for example, or somebody in our offices, that engineer who is perhaps not doing things right. Now, if you try to give feedback, they won't take it. And so they become aggressive. And so then we have learned to withdraw ourselves. We learn to not express it and say, okay, fine, it's not mine. Why should I bother about it? We have this thing, the tendency is not mine. So let me just do my work. Because we are already, whatever there, we are fearful. We're fearful that this person is going to be, if they're a little bit senior, they're fearful that they're going to do something to us in our reviews, in our performance appraisals. So fear of survival, fear of, getting image tarnished. There are many things that we are fearful. But meditation, and every day when we meditate, and every day we are emptying our mind, and every day as we empty the mind, we experience that wholeness of ourselves, that quantum field. And so the more we experience that we are beyond the body, the more strength we gain, the less survival-oriented we become. So then we start developing this courage in ourselves, to strengthen ourselves to express it. Now we're no longer expressing because you're aware of your emotion. We're not expressing aggressively. We are expressing positively. So we develop the ability to express beautifully. We start questioning, but we put positive pressure. We're not arrogant in asking a questioning, but we positively and we gently ask. So meditation helps to build that strength, the courage to speak, courage to express. You want to change your job, but then you are just not have the courage. It's that, the company says this project is the most important right now, so I must be here. But you don't like what you're doing. And then before it's more survival. So I don't know if a question if we ask, and then management may see it as, I'm not really interested in the company goals. And so then we don't ask, it might impact me. It might impact me. But now, dear friends, the self-expression, the courage to express is there because you no longer think survival. When we experience the wholeness in meditation, the connection, the feeling that I'm much more. And so then you're courageous. And then you're asking. And then with meditation, because you're fundamentally, you're courageous, you become truthful. You don't avoid things. You are going about talking. And then here's one something beautiful happens. Self-expression is not trying to exploit people. So your intentions are clear. Your intentions are to help people grow. And so in case there is a review, you are going to the person and then giving them a chance to express it with an intention to correct it as opposed to expose somebody. So when that courage comes, and so we start becoming truthful, because then we are seeing that 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 if I don't express what I'm looking for, if I don't express what I like, what I see as not right, then you start feeling unhappy inside. And so you become truthful. Now, one thing beautiful is happening in self-expression. When you express it, people pay attention to you. And so you express 5 times and say, you know what, this is not important. This is important for me. The environment around you ignore you maybe 4 times, but the 5th time they notice it. So you are pursuing a positive. Now, you don't argue about things. Self-expression is about arguing. Self-expression is to put your point across gently, positively, giving an explanation. And so you're putting your points across gently, and you're telling what is important. And so people notice it. Your music practice is important, you're telling. Well, 5 o'clock, you have to go and then do something, you are able to express it and then claim that. So meditation is giving the strength to express, dear friends. So then automatically we are able to receive what's important for us. We start experiencing that are important for us. When you start experiencing that are important for us, then you start becoming happy. So we stop managing and we are more integral. So self-expression leads to a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. And so when you start, because self-expression brings you what you're looking for in life, what you're looking for at workplace, what you're looking among family members, with friends. Somebody is bullying you all the time, cracking jokes, you don't like it. What is the previous behavior? We avoid. We avoid a group, or avoid that person when he's there or she is there. They're bullying you, you feel. But now you're actually walking up that person, expressing a look. While it may be funny for you, I don't really understand. I like this. And so then you're expressing firmly and gently, and so that situation changes, your friends. And so you're placing yourself into situations you like. And so this is called, when you like what you are doing, when you're doing what you're liking because you asked for it, you change your job role, you started pursuing a passion that you wanted, you told your family, this photography is important. I've got to go on every weekend somewhere. You told that. You claimed it. So then you're pursuing a passion, you're happy. When you're happy, you go into the flow. And so then you start doing things so beautiful. Nobody needs to tell you, because you love already, whatever that you're doing is what you wanted. So nobody needs to tell you love it. And so you are automatically self-accountable. When we become self-accountable, and then we are going in, because we like what we're doing, so we go into the details. These are 2 fundamental qualities that companies and organizations look for. Self-managing individual becomes a manager's delight. They become a manager's delight, because I don't need to now worry about sampath anymore. Sampath, I given something, it's got to become the best, because it goes into the detail. Going into the detail, what you inspect is what you get, not what you expect. A lot of times we tell and superficially go away. And then afterwards we blame the people, saying that you didn't do it, I didn't do it. So going into the detail brings us to what you're looking for. So a meditator, when they develop this awareness and expression, are able to perform to their best because they love what they're doing. They're doing what they like. They're doing what they like initially, so they go into the details, so they love it. And so, dear friends, something beautiful happens slowly. Because we go into the detail, because then we are accountable. So we start, and because we are very calm, now your awareness is calm. You go into a meeting, you're walking, and people are reviewing your job, work, and then maybe people comment on it, they give you feedback. But then you're no longer reacting the way you used to react before. You mistrust before, but now you're not mistrusting. You're saying, okay, let me see what I was learning here. Somebody is trying to give me feedback. You're calm, you take it. you take that in a common sense. So because you're aware of an emotion and saying there is somebody is trying to give, and it's all about our learning. So that calmness, that detail, that self-accountability makes you inspired. People start looking at us saying, what is the reason that Sampath is suddenly calm and suddenly is just doing about his work? We become inspiration. When you become inspiration, people take as example. They come to us for advice. A great way we start connecting with people, dear friends. Another thing beautiful happening to us is that when we start doing things that we love, for example, I have my music band, and I got my 1 hour time. Somehow I had figured this out, but told my family, told my spouse, I got to go and do my music band. And so when I get my time for my music band, and everything else seems easy, my cooking no longer becomes challenge if I'm doing my music practice, because that's what I loved. And so it no longer becomes a chore. So I start liking whatever I do. So the same job, same role, we start liking what we do because we have figured out a way to integrate what we really love to do, our passion. So a meditator slowly moves from doing what you love to loving what you do. They become detail-oriented, so they inspire people. So inspiration is the first step of connecting. So dear friends, the last thing, the fourth one is empathy. So one of the things that we understand through meditation, through spiritual science, is that our thoughts create reality. And we understand that everybody has got the same situation as you. I mean, everybody is going through the situation that you've gone through, perhaps. And if there is something coming to us, so we are drawing the situation. So number one, when thoughts create reality is fully, deeply understood, then we start taking responsibility. In many ways, we start taking responsibility for our actions. Situations that come, I'm a manager. Then if I was expecting certain output from somebody, I first question myself, if that didn't happen, I first question myself, did I do my part right? Did I do my part right? And so before blaming, before judging somebody, before complaining about somebody, I start questioning myself, did I do my part right? Number one. And then number two, we also start looking from others' perspective, because a true manager is looking also that if somebody is coming late every day, so there must be a reason. So let me sit down and understand. Rather than saying, I don't care what happens to you, so I expect you to deliver this. The notion of empathy is to understand people as they are, that they may have a challenge, that I too have gone through a challenge, that I was initial part of my career, I did not know many things. So rather than assuming, and then we become empathetic from a situation, from people perspective. And so we become more we understand why somebody is not able to deliver, why somebody is not able to be on time, why somebody is behaving the way they're behaving. Ignorance, we understand that they may not even know basics. And so they are that way. So dear friends, meditation develops this greater empathy, because the empathy, when we are connecting with people in meditation every day, and when we are getting better, and then when we control our emotions, so we know that when we control emotion, because of lack of awareness, we had this, and then so now we know it. And then so somebody is expressing that anger, somebody is expressing out of ignorance, saying something, then we understand it, that they too will change. I change, they too will change. And so we become empathetic from the situation, because we see the hope of change from people. And so dear friends, when you become empathetic, you're allowing failures to happen. You stop being perfect. We may be perfect with ourselves. There is nothing called perfection, by the way, in spirituality. It's only excellence. And so we become empathetic, means that while we may be very good at doing things, but then we allow imperfections to happen from our team members. So then we allow failures to happen, and so then people thrive. So that is the beginning. Empathy means, okay, fine, I gave something, they couldn't deliver it because of various reasons. So looking for reasons of why it's happening, as opposed to simply being focused on your delivery dates and numbers and then forcing people. Patrici told that a true organization, while goals are always required, now we apply the spiritual principle, goals are required, deadlines are required, whatever that is required. But however, you are measuring somebody based on whether they were serious and sincere enough in what they are trying to deliver, as opposed to whether delivered or not on that date. Goals are important to channel the energy, but it is the sincerity and seriousness with which the individual has demonstrated the capability, as opposed to whether they met or not met. This is really how we look at how you grow an organization. I've practiced this in my company significantly. We used to set up something called a stretch goal and goals. We used to have these deadlines, and many of them all the time. But then, however, it is always, and I've always looked at the team around me in terms of how sincere they're being. Are they learning? Are they going away? Now, are they sincere? Are they putting their time? Are they blaming and complaining? So you look at that aspect. And then, so as long as you know that somebody is delivering their best to the best of their ability, then it is okay if they didn't meet it. We know it. We do this. And then we are standing up to the management around things that didn't happen because we have this courage to express. Self-expression is there. So, dear friends, empathy is greatly developed for meditators, and so then we allow imperfections to happen. We stop complaining. We start judging. These qualities we develop. In fact, Patrizi, the core of spirituality to me is in these two statements: no complaints and no judgments. If we understood thoughts create reality, then we truly, truly are embracing these two statements, because complaint means we don't own an experience that comes to us. Judgment means that people show up based on how we think and feel about them. And so if you change this, if you own thoughts create reality, then these two will disappear from our dictionary or our way we behave. As I never understood, but then he always said, no complaint, no judgment. And it makes us light. So empathy, dear friends, is we move from what is in it for me in situations to we by default, what is in it for others. We start helping others. Like we're seeing people have challenge, so can I help them? So a true meditator is going about in his office or wherever they're doing, they're first empowering others as much as possible, and they're helping others, enabling others, and then coming back and doing what they need to do. They always by default want to help because they recognize that I'm the whole, I'm the one. They connect in that sense. In meditation, we connect, that make the connection. The quantum field means we're all connected in it. The last one, dear friends, in emotional intelligence cycle is engagement. So when you are empathetic, a great quality, that means you're not sympathizing with situations. And if somebody comes with a family challenge, you don't just simply sympathize and leave it and then come back to what you want. You're looking to see if there is a way to find a solution. You're not problem-oriented or solution-oriented. You're more solution-oriented, less problem-oriented. And so then you become charismatic. People come to you. You become a leader, start becoming a leader. And a person who is inspiring and who is empathetic becomes a natural leader. Everybody comes to you. When you are empathetic as a manager, you're doing those one-on-ones without an agenda. You are walking with your colleague, your reportee, for a coffee, and then taking them and say, tell me a little more about you, and just inquiring, building that friendship. Because it's not just about deadlines and things. So empathetic means understanding somebody from their perspective, see how you can be helpful. As you become a leader, dear friends, so then people are there with you. They trust you. They're there. They want to follow you. They want to take your guidance. And so you become a natural leader. And so then you channel that energy to take new initiatives. You're rallying people for a cause. You're rallying them for a weekend nature walk. Whatever that is that you are looking to experience, you experience that in multiplication with everybody around you. You socialize more because you're natural leaders. You have the ability to influence. You talk about meditation. You introduce it to your organization readily. As a true kind of a leader. Every person becomes a leader. Every meditator becomes a leader by definition. A leader to themselves about their life. That's Buddha's CEO. Patrizi coined Buddha's CEO. When you meditate, you become a Buddha inside. And so you you become a CEO outside. Meditation develops this wheel of emotional intelligence. It starts with awareness and expression. These are key. When these two are there, then we become a great source of inspiration to people around. And so then we become a natural leader. There isn't anything that you feel is not possible. I used to be a great introvert to the nth degree. I was a pure technologist, nothing, pure technologist, me, and then maybe my that architect with whom I used to work. And really, I used to talk. A lot of what I am happened after I came into meditation from 2000 onwards. Moving into business roles, from CTO to business role, moving into the business role, having to go around to talk to clients and customers, and then doing all of this required a different personality. And I say a lot of that happened through meditation, where you become that inspiration you start engaging with people actively. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and everyone.
So now in the corporate world, right, the leader is expected to be in a certain way, right? Calm, composed. Like sometimes we get the image of Dhoni, someone like him, but always calm and composed. Is it okay to be vulnerable? Is it okay to not have the right answers at all the time? So, there is this pressure to put up this face and show the strength, right? Should we do that versus should we be authentic?
Most important to be that, exhibit your vulnerability. First of all, vulnerability is how we think. That this vulnerability is not there when we, as a meditator, we understand that if I don't know, I don't know. And we don't become that just because somebody thinks something about us by saying so. By thinking so, we don't become that. So we recognize that this is the biggest challenge, is that what will people think of me? What will they judge me of if I ask something silly? And so that we hold ourselves back. Our saying that I don't know is fine. I don't really have answers. In fact, we become a lot more credible, a lot more authentic when we say that. And we hold that back because we have this thing of constantly managing people. And meditation helps us to be centered around us. And so we gain that courage to say I don't know, that's fine. And to express, for example, a lot of times people sweep things under the carpet. You are a leader, you are trying to deliver, and then a few things are not working right. It can be a problem. And again, vulnerability. We're not being honest. We're not coming out. Now, rather than trying to make the company or organization, yourself, the whole team under jeopardy later, they're just standing up front, going there, and then taking that extra time to fix it is so important. Now, the courage is required. Again, fear of failure. It all comes from survival. We're more survival oriented. So if I now express it, then of course, the senior management may not be very empathetic the way you are. It's possible. And I had such challenge when I moved from a startup to IBM. Then IBM acquired a startup. And so then I was in this big organization. And so obviously, not everybody around you are empathetic. But one thing beautiful I did, I worked on my manager. So manager, Lawrence, became a meditator. So she became empathetic and she took the heat from top if we were not delivering. Okay. But then, however, that only lasts for a year. So somebody new manager came. And boy, they wouldn't understand. But then just because they wouldn't understand, and then I was not trying to please them by trying to say, yes, but then if my team wanted it, I have to go. We have to miss multiple times because the things are complex. But it is okay. And it is okay for me if they're going to measure me, saying that you're missing. But I do know deep inside that we are sincere. And so whatever we're delivering is going to come around to the best. And so they'll recognize it. But it's okay to go and tell somebody that, hey, you know what? We were just late. We are late, and it's better to do it now, being truthful, because otherwise we'll not be happy inside. So we need that. And then every time we did, especially there's a large client in UK, very large client. So people, when the problem comes, they come to us and say, you got to do it overnight. But luckily, my team was trained through meditation, the self-expression. So together, we could stay by, and then people are less worried about the salary and increments, and then more about whether they can do it to the good level. And so it worked. I tried the straightforwardness as opposed to trying to satisfy them. I think if you have a strong conviction, then we go about putting it up. It's okay. If the manager don't understand what's the worst thing that's going to happen, we got to go to another company, right? That's all it is. No big deal. This is how we become. We're no longer worried about we getting employed somewhere. That's key. And meditation builds its strength in us.
We show empathy when someone does not change. They take us for granted. What is the best thing can be done in that situation?
Yes. Separate the difference between freedom to not question, say, allow people to do what they want to do, to having a contract with you in an organization. There is a contract. We all go with a contract organization and say, hey, you do this to me, I do this to you. It's a contract. And so then we must deliver to what we agree. So that's what I'm bound by. When I go to an organization, I must deliver to what I agree. And a true meditator, the true person must deliver. Now, they are not meditators, whatever that may be, right? But we have a contract that we agreed to. So now when in the process, the first thing is to make it clear to them that they have a contract they've agreed to. It's important and so the second, now we only look at whether they're serious and sincere in their attempts. Somebody taking you for granted. You're not allowing that to happen. You question back and say, absolutely we're questioning back. Empathy doesn't mean that we don't question. Empathy only means that we understand the situation to find a solution. Rather than blaming merely and then looking from your perspective, you're looking from the team or the person in inclusive and identify a solution. But you want to question the person at every time if they're not sincere enough, if they're not serious enough in their attempt. Okay. So questioning has to be there back. But as long as you convince that they're sincerely attempting, they're seriously doing it to the best of their ability. Now, of course, at some point, there is thing you got to look for the match, for the role. They've got to look for a match. There may be abilities are not matching anymore. They're performing their best, but they always fall short. It happens, right? Because they're in the wrong place. Now, here is something beautiful is going to happen with every leader, every meditator. You develop the ability to find the talent and align to the people. I've always been advised Patrizi for it. You'd find in everybody what is the right talent, and so then you put them in the right role. So we must do this, and we will do it. The meditator will identify the strength of an individual so that you move them to a role where they will succeed, as opposed to, it cannot be a square peg in a round hole, the concept. We will look at it and analyze it. If somebody is serious and sincere, and then so if they're not able to deliver performing, so that means you look at actually what is the core strength and change that role. And at some point, there may not be a role. So then you'll be a friend and then explain and then help them find a solution to move them into a different organization, what to do. But it's got to do it. We got to deliver to the commitment that we gave, to the contract that they gave. I said, they do have to do it. So we have to, because that's a word that we gave. So that's how we have to look at this in situations where people take for granted, people don't perform. But then how do I do? Is it a free will? So I'm questioning, I'm interfering? No, not at all. Right? We're only asking within the gamut of the words that they gave to deliver. But yes, we must look at, is there a better place where they can deliver the best, they perform the best? So constantly looking at the different role for people can have